That's not the main reason. In such cases, you can find this recording as a substitute if you want to prepare for the future classes of test or exam. Okay. So meanwhile, let me give an introduction to today's class and what we had done in the previous class. In the previous class, we discussed regarding a numerical problem, which is on convolution sum, and it is for a discrete time signal. So how the convolution of two signals is being evaluated. So we are going to have a signal, say x1 of n. We are going to have one more signal, that is x2 of n. And when you convolute these two signals, what would be the output? I repeat, so the system which is taken into consideration will be a linear time invariant system. Okay, so we are going to solve two more problems which are related to convolution sum, and later on we are going to have the convolution integral being considered, and that would be enough for today's class. Okay, so let me share today's content. Okay, I'll share my whiteboard. Fine. So the first problem goes this way. Okay, so you need to have an understanding of the linear time invariant system first, and later on you need to understand the formula and certain properties which are associated with respect to the convolution sum. Without that, whatever the concepts that I teach with respect to a discrete time signal, that is of no use. Okay, so see to it that you are going to repeat certain things, and I'll share all the materials. Even though sharing all the materials, if it is useful, then we can say that whatever the things that I convey, okay, so in the class are useful. So otherwise it is of no use. Okay, so see to it that you are going to go through it. Okay, go through all the videos that are posted in my YouTube channel. Okay, so see to it that you are going to cover whatever the lecture notes that I have prepared and I have sent you, and make the best use of it. Okay, an LTI system, which is an important problem. This is an important problem. Okay, in case if they ask for convolution sum. Okay, so you might expect such problems in your examination. An LTI system is characterized by an impulse response h of n. Okay, so this is the impulse response. Those who are attending for the first time, so h of n is called the impulse response of the system, where the input would be associated with respect to the impulse function. So h of n would be equal to 3 by 4 power n u of n. Okay, 3 by 4 power n multiplied with u of n. Find the step response. Find the step response of the system. Find the step response of the system, and also evaluate the output of the system, output or response of the system, or step response of the system, which is nothing but the output here, output of the system at n is equal to, sorry, this is n, at n equals plus or minus 5, at n equals plus or minus 5. Okay, so an LTI system is characterized by an impulse response, say h of n equals 3 by 4 power n u of n. So find the step response of the system and also evaluate the output of the system at n equals plus or minus 5. Okay, so I'll tell you what are the steps that are being involved. So it is an LTI system. Just look here, it is certainly an LTI system. So how we are going to characterize it? We are going to characterize it by the impulse response, which is given by 3 by 4 power n. Okay, so once you have to look here, so 3 by 4 power n u of n. Okay, so it is generally less than 1 here. So, and this one u of n is a unit step signal. Okay, so find the step response of the system here. Okay, so find the step response of the system. So what you have to understand here is, so you have an LTI system. Okay, you have an LTI system here. So this is an LTI system, and you have the input as x of n and y of n is the output. X of n is the input, and it is a LTI system. Okay, and it is a LTI system. So this LTI system, whatever that is there, that is h of n. So which is given by 3 by 4 power n u of n. Okay, so h of n is characterized by this h of n, that is 3 by 4 power n equation, whatever that's been given there, as the impulse response of the LTI system. Okay, now I have x of n. So in order to find out the step response of the system, okay, in order to find out the step response of the system, I need the step input, isn't it? I need the step input. So how we are going to calculate the step input? X of n, you have to give the input as a unit step signal. Okay, a unit step signal. Fine. So u of n is given as the input there. So this is the LTI system, and this one is h of n, that is equal to 3 by 4 power n into u of n. Don't get confused here. So u of n is there. So this one is h of n. So why this is u of n? I want the impulse response which is associated. It is characterized already by the equation, but I need the step response of the system which is asked in the question here. So y of n is given by x of n. I need to convolute it with h of n. Okay, given x of n is a unit step signal. Okay, so unit step signal. So x of n is a unit step signal that is given by u of n. Okay, so now we'll go for the convolution formula that is there. So we all know that the output of the system, that is the step response of the system, that is the step response of the system, step response of the system. Fine. So how we are going to do that? So x of n convoluted with h of n. Okay, so we have a simple formula where we can have the commutative property also being applied to it. So h of n convoluted with x of n. So either ways you can write it. So this one, how did I write? It is by the commutative property. Commutative property. Okay, so now I have applied the commutative property. The solution, what I'm going to do there, so I'll be taking this equation into consideration. You might be having a question, why can't we take this, right? So we can also take this conventional convolution formula which is there, or we can just interchange it with the commutative property, isn't it? So to know the solution quite easily, we are going to have the commutative property being applied here. Okay, so let me go with the solution now. So I'll list out the formula here. Let me list out the formula. So x of n convoluted, the conventional one. Okay, so the normal formula, what I'm going to apply, what we derived it in the previous classes. So that is x of k times h of n minus k. Okay, so this is nothing but the impulse response of the system. Okay, t operator, what we did. So that is how we are going to get y of n here. So now we have to switch over. I mean, the commutative property is to be applied here. So how do I write the step response of the system? Y of n. So h of n convoluted with x of n. Okay. So now you are going to get sigma k is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. So what is h of n? H of n equals 3 by 4 power n u of n. Okay, so that is 3 by 4 power n u of n, and x of n is nothing but the unit step signal. Okay, so h of n and x of n is there. So I repeat, h of n convoluted with x of n, h of n is there and x of n is there. So now I need to have h of k times x of n minus k. Okay, so look this formula, and I'm just replacing it here. Okay, so now what do? I have sigma minus infinity to plus infinity with k as a variable. Okay, h of k. So when it was h of n, it was 3 by 4 power n u of n. So now it is 3 by 4 power k u of k. Okay, so x of n. So x of n minus k. How do I write it? That is u of n minus k again, right? So u of k multiplied with u of n minus k. Okay, so that is what I will be doing here. Fine. So if I need to do this, so if you know the conventional formula, what you are going to apply, so you are going to find out with sigma equals, that is k equals minus infinity to plus infinity 3 by 4 power k u of k multiplied with u of n minus k. Okay, so now what you are going to do, you are going to see that u of n, u of k or u of n, so whatever that we had, we were having the right-handed signal there. So if I want to sketch the graph of u of n, so that would be towards the right-handed signal like this, isn't it? So that would be towards the right-handed signal. So 1, so you are going to have n greater than or equal to 0 as the magnitude 1 and 0 for n less than 0. Okay, so u of n would be mathematically being expressed as 1 and 0 as the magnitude, where you will be having n greater than or equal to 0 and n less than 0 there, right? So that is what we understood. So now I have the product of u of k into u of n minus k. Okay, so u of k, if I want to sketch it, it is quite similar to that of u of n, where k would be greater than or equal to 0, it is 1, and k less than 0, that would be equal to 0 there. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now I have this value which is being written here. So now I have u of n minus k. Okay, so now you had u of n minus n naught. The same way, u of n minus k, if I want to write it, so that can also be written as u of k plus n. Okay, so you can either ways you can write it. So what it represents, this value entirely which is there, so it would be n minus k would be greater than or equal to 0 and n minus k would be less than 0 there. So now you have n greater than or equal to k, and k, when you reverse it, so that would be less than or equal to n, isn't it? So that's how you can write the equation there. Okay, so you can sketch the graph as n minus k, yeah, where you can write it as u of n minus k there. Okay, so u of n minus k, if you want to write it, so it would be a delayed signal. If you have any value of k, you can write it like this. So that would be from 0 to k here. So you have the value of k being written there. Now, if I want to have any such value, say 2, u of n minus 2, n minus 3, and so on. So depending on the value of k, okay, so depending on the value of k that is used in the summation here, okay, so I'm going to replace it. So what I'm going to do there is, I'll be forming out an identity which would be useful. So given identity, I can write it as the identity where you will be having a product of u of k and u of n minus k. Okay, so any signal in the, what you can identify is, you can have the value as 1 and 0. Okay, you can have the value as 1 and 0. So what you can write it from here is, you can have n minus k greater than or equal to 0, and later you can have the value which is k greater than or equal to 0 there, isn't it? So k greater than or equal to 0. So now it is 0 here for n less than 0. Okay, so for n less than 0. So this is the product of two signals. One is the unit step signal and next one is the delayed signal, right? So if you can identify, or if you can keep this property in mind, okay, so that would be quite useful, isn't it? So now you can have two values which are being listed out here. So one, you need to change the summation now. So how you are going to change the summation? So that is the output y of n. So that is given by sigma n is equal to, sorry, k, value k is equal to 0 to n. Okay, so why n here? So when k is equal to n, so I change the unit step signal. If you remember, I changed the unit step signal, that is the delayed signal, u of k into u of n minus k there. Okay, so k is the variable that is taken in the summation. Okay, so now I have 3 by 4 power k. Okay, so once you have other values, that would be 0. So anything multiplied with 0 is 0. So those values are being left out. Only the summation values that needs to be taken into consideration will be from 0 to n. Okay, so from 0 to n. So now if you can recall the property here. Okay, so if you can recall the property, so you will be having the summation rule. Once you have n is equal to 0 to n, a power n. Okay, so a power n plus 1 minus 1 divided by a minus 1. Okay, so this is the formula that you are going to apply there, isn't it? So sigma n is equal to 0 to n, a power n, that would be equal to a power n plus 1 minus 1 divided by a minus 1. Okay, so that's how the things work out, and this equation would be for n greater than or equal to 0. I repeat, so this equation would be for n greater than or equal to 0. So I am using the word variable k here. Okay, so that would be certainly greater than 0, isn't it? So I can generally take the value from k is equal to 0 to n in the summation, and the value of n would be greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so that would be the y of n. Okay, the output step response. So y of n will be equal to 0. I can generally write it where you will be having n less than 0. Okay, so y of n will be equal to 0 for n less than 0. Okay, so now I'll be taking this into consideration where I have n greater than 0, and I apply one more standard identity with respect to summation. So I can call this as summation identity. I can call this one as summation identity. Okay, so now recalling this summation identity, I have a power n plus 1. So 3 by 4 power n plus 1 minus 1 divided by 3 by 4 minus 1. Okay, so this is how the system looks like for n greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so I have two outputs here. One, I used it with the summation identity. So next one, I equated it to 0 for n less than 0. Okay, so 3 by 4 whole raised to the power n plus 1 minus 1 divided by 3 by 4 minus 1. I got the output response for a step signal. So this is the one which I need to take into consideration for evaluating for n is equal to plus 5 and minus 5. So evaluating the output of the system, evaluating the output of the system, evaluating the output of the system. Okay, so how can I evaluate the output of the system? At n is equal to plus or minus 5. Given n is equal to plus or minus 5, I am evaluating the output of the system. Okay, so what it is there? So 3 by 4 power n plus 1 minus 1 divided by 3 by 4 minus 1. Okay, so that is 0 for n greater than or equal to 0, and for n less than 0 there, right? So I'll be taking this into consideration again. Okay, for n equals 5. Okay, so can you quickly tell me for n is equal to minus 5, what would be y of n? Anyone can unmute themselves and they can let me know what is y of n for n equals minus 5?
0.
Yes, exactly. So because yeah, n less than 0, you have y of n to be equal to 0 there. So any value, it might be minus 4, minus 5, which is less than 0, minus 0.001 if I give. So that would be y of n will be equal to 0 there, right? So for n is equal to 5, I need to evaluate, isn't it? So y of n would be equal to, so 3 by 4, 5 plus 1 is 6, 4 raised to the power 6 minus 1 divided by 3 by 4. I can write it as 0.5 for 3 by 4 and I can evaluate it in the calculator. So if I evaluate in the calculator, what would I get? So 3 by 4 power 6.1779 minus 1 divided by So 0.75 minus 1, that is 0.25 with a negative sign. Okay, so what would I get here? So I'll be getting minus 0.8221 divided by minus 0.25. So negative sign get cancelled here. So that would be 3.284. Okay, so what I can write, this is y of 5. Okay, so this is y of 5. Y of minus 5, we can directly say it as 0, and sorry, minus 5, yes, minus 5 is taken as 0, and y of 5 with a positive sign, y of plus 5, which is 3.284. Okay, so this is how we carried out the numerical problem. Fine. So the next problem, what I'm going to give it is the problem where you need to convolute two sequences again. So convolute two sequences given as okay, so x1 of n and x2 of n. Okay, so x1 of n and x2 of n, that is alpha power n u of n, that would be equal to the second one, beta power n u of n. Okay, so these are the two sequences that is given as x1 of n equals alpha power n u of n, and x2 of n would be equal to beta power n u of n. Okay, so I'll give you a hint now where y of n, the output. Okay, so y of n is the output where you will have x1 of n convoluted with x2 of n. Okay, so y of n, you need to find the output. The output is characterized by the convolution of two signals. Okay, so you will get a problem. So find the output of a system where given two sequences x1 of n and x2 of n, you have these two equations. You have to find out y of n. So x2 of n, okay, convoluted with x1 of n, or x1 of n convoluted with x2 of n. So either ways it is one and the same. Okay, so remember one thing, commutative law holds good. Commutative, associative, fine, distributive law. Okay, you have the identity sequence. Okay, so go through certain laws which are already been taught you, and you can apply them in the given sequences to find out the convoluted sum. Okay, so convolute two signals. Okay, you are going to use the convolution sum here. Okay, so find the convolution sum. You might get certain problems. Okay, so now you need to find out it, and you need to arrive. Once you have alpha equals beta, you might get a signal like that, isn't it? You will be getting x1 of n to be equal to 1 by 2 power n u of n. Okay, and you have x2 of n also being given as 1 by 2 power n u of n. Okay, so in both the cases it is equals beta, what I've written here, right? So you will be having two outputs. Once you have alpha equals beta, okay, and alpha not equal to beta. So case one would be alpha not equal to beta. You have two different signals being there, and the second case would be alpha equals beta there. So find out and do let me know. Okay, so if you have any problems with this convolution of two sequences, okay, so the answer or the recorded video will be shared to you in the later part of this week, right? So do it. I want you to apply the convolution for these two signals, and you have to find out what is y of n when alpha not equal to beta, and when alpha equals beta, what would be the output. Okay, yes. Yeah, moving on to the next one, we had for convolution of a discrete signal. Now, what do I need to do? I need to have the convolution time integral being evaluated for a continuous time signal, right? So now x of n was a discrete time signal, isn't it? X of n was a discrete time signal. Now x of t is a continuous time signal, okay? So x of t is a continuous time signal, isn't it? So x of n is a discrete time signal, x of t is a continuous time signal. So what you need to verify is, I told you in the previous class, so here I'll be making use of sum. Okay, so here I'll be making use of integral. Okay, I'll be making use of integral, right? So I'll be using the sum here. Next one, x of t, will be the integral here, right? So now I need to convolute two signals which are continuous in nature, so continuous time domain, isn't it? So now what I need to do, I need to have y of t, which is the output. I'll be having x of t convoluted with h of t. Again, h of t is called the, what it is called? Can anyone let me know what is called? What it is called? Sorry, h of t. What is h of n?
So impulse response.
Yes, impulse response. Is Lekana Gangadkar there? Is Lekana there in the meeting? Rohini? Is Rohini there? Rohini MV? Yes, Rohini, are you there in the meeting?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is h of t called here? You know what is h of n, right? So what is h of n? Impulse response of the system once you have x of n, that is for a continuous time signal, isn't it? So what is h of t again? It is called as the impulse response of a continuous time signal being applied as an input. Okay, again what I need to take into consideration is x of t. So that is LTI system which is taken into consideration. I have the output y of t. Okay, so what it is there? So I need to apply the t operator. So t operator is being applied here. So along with x of t, I have the impulse response of the system also being associated. So y of t, it is called as x of t convoluted with h of t, isn't it? So that is y of t. Okay, so now what do I need to do? I need to integrate. Okay, so I need to integrate. So it would be from the limits, maximum limits on the left hand side, that is minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, so minus infinity to plus infinity I need to evaluate. So now how would the system act, isn't it? So how would the system act? It is a simple equation that you need to take into consideration. So that is, I'll be calling it as a variable tau. Okay, so what I called in case of summation, it would be from sigma equals k is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity, isn't it? So k is the variable which I called here in case of summation. So now I have tau is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. So I have the input signal as, sorry, 1 minute. Yeah, this is y of t. Okay, the output. Okay, so that is the t operator that is being applied here, t of x of t. Okay, so t operator which is being applied, that is the output of the system. So now I have x of tau. Okay, x of tau delta of t minus tau, t minus tau here. So this is small t minus tau. Okay, d tau. Okay, so now if I want to apply the operator here, that is again tau will be equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, so if I want to apply it, okay, so if I want to apply it, what I'll be doing here, so I'll be applying the t operator only to the delta function. Okay, t minus tau. Okay, d tau. Yes, so now this operator is minus infinity to plus infinity, x of tau. So t of delta t minus tau would be, what is it? So it would be the proportionate change. So that is the time invariance property which is being applied here. So t of delta t, that would be equal to h of t. Now I change t to t minus tau here. Okay, so change t to t minus tau. That would be t of delta t minus tau here. Okay, so that is h of t minus tau. Okay, so what I'll be having, h of t minus tau d tau. Okay, so again this is the tau which will be from minus infinity to plus infinity. Fine, so I have the impulse response of the system being written here. So minus infinity to plus infinity, x of tau times h of t minus tau d tau. So what I can write, the output of the system can be given as x of t convoluted with h of t. Okay, so this is the equation for convolution of two continuous time signal. Okay, so once I have this x of t as the continuous time signal and h of t being the impulse response of the system, h of t being the impulse response of the system, impulse response of the system. Fine. So impulse response of the system, I have x of t convoluted with h of t. So where h of t is called as the impulse response of the system. Okay. So y of t is given as x of t convoluted with h of t, right? So y of t will be equal to x of t convoluted with h of t. Okay, so you have the integral operator again that has been applied. So where you will be having y of t, so that is t operated on x of t, so that is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of tau h of t minus tau d tau. So this is the standard formula that you will be remembering, and we are going to solve problems of two types here. I'll be listing out before I wind up the session. So you have two types of problems which you need to be discussed. One is the direct continuous time signals being given, continuous time signals given. Okay, so where you will be having x1 of t to be equal to e power minus 4t u of t plus 1, something like that. Okay, so where you will be having x2 of t that has been given as u of t. Okay, so you need to convolute these two signals, isn't it? So these are directly given. Now what you need to do, you need to have the second type of problem, which is quite important. Even the first one is also important, but you need to sketch the signal. Okay, sketching of the signal, that is x1 of t and x2 of t would be given in the question, and where you need to find out the convoluted output of it, right? So convolution of two signals you have to find out, and then you have to sketch that convoluted signal. Okay, so the first one you will be finding out the convoluted signal, that is type 2 problems. Okay, 2 problems. The next one would be the sketching of that convoluted signal, sketching of convoluted signal, sketching of convoluted signal. Okay, so meanwhile the properties of the system, what I would be discussing, that is commutative property, associative property, and distributive property. So all these property holds good in the continuous time domain, where the signal is continuous in nature, continuously varying in nature. And this derivations part, I'll be sending you another video of it, and it would be short duration of time. So again, all these three properties would hold good. Okay, and I'll send you some standard identities in both continuous time domain and also in discrete time domain. Okay, so meanwhile, so I have certain things which I would be discussing. Just a moment.